Hello everyone, CoinHound here. Today we'll be looking at the 13th entry in the U.S. Mint's Presidential Medal Series. Millard Fillmore. Before we take a look at the medal itself, let's take a look at Millard Fillmore's story. He was the 13th President of the United States, serving 1850 to 1853. Now, Fillmore was born in 1800. He lived to 75 years of age. He was from the state of New York. By trade, he was a lawyer who then entered into politics. Spent a significant number of years involved in New York state politics, and also served in 3 or 4 terms in the United States Congress along the way as well. He eventually ran for the governorship in New York, and he lost that election, and later ended up serving as something along the lines of comptroller or something like that. He was selected by Zachary Taylor to be his vice president, and as you may have seen in my last video on the Taylor Medal, Zachary Taylor only served about 1.5 years in office before he died of an illness. So Millard Fillmore, as vice president, stepped into the presidency. And he served out the remainder of the term, basically from the summer of 1850 until early 1853. So a little bit over 2.5 years. He did not win re-election. Like Taylor, he was a member of the Whig Party. He was the last president to be elected from the Whig Party. They would sort of disappear shortly after that, and we would become a two-party system once again with the Republicans and the Democrats. Now, his presidency was a fairly nondescript presidency. Can't say there was a whole lot of accomplishments and the like. Kind of two big things jump out at you. First off, sort of building on the work of Zachary Taylor in the Congress, he did sign into law the Compromise of 1850, that was put together to sort of resolve disagreements between the North and South about the land that had been acquired in the Mexican-American War, basically the southwest of what is now the southwest of the United States. Fillmore, although he opposed slavery, he did feel it was his job as president to enforce the law, and he did promise to enforce the Fugitive Slave Act. And this really hurt his popularity in the North and most likely contributed to him failing to be reelected. The only other real big initiative he had was he did push to open trade in the Pacific. He sent a contingent of American naval ships out to Japan, and through a combination of negotiations and perhaps a degree of pressure, was able to open the very closed society of Japan to international trade. Now that we've discussed the presidency of Millard Fillmore, let's take a quick look at the medal itself here. This is the standard packaging that the presidential medals arrive in. Basically a forest green type of color. And it is nice that it has the silver lettering here, unlike the American Silver Eagle boxes that have black on black and can't really be read. And then we have a nice gift box underneath. And certificate of authenticity. I want to talk about this in a few minutes, particular topic related to that. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at the medal. It comes in these nice little fuzzy clamshell. And we'll open it up here and take this out. Okay, so there you have it. Millard Fillmore, President of the United States, 1850. It's kind of got a little bit of a frosted finish to it, kind of like the uncirculated American Silver Eagle. And these medals are replicas of the real-life historic medals that were given out by presidents throughout the early history of our country. They're originally called Presidential Peace Medals because they were issued to Native American tribes as a sign of friendship and peace between the United States and those tribes. Up until this point, most of the designs have had an interlocking handshake between a European American and a Native American. with the one exception being William Henry Harrison, because his presidency was incredibly short, about a month long. And so they had a little bit of a different design for him. I'm not sure if they were actually ever distributed as peace medals. And then this one, Millard Fillmore, is the second of the series to have a different design. And if we flip it over, we have it here. It has the same type of basic theme. Let me put it down on the table. Of friendship. It is intended to be a peace medal. And you can see on the top there, and I can't see this with my glasses very well, but labor, virtue, and honor. And then there's an American flag image. And then you have a farmer on the left, and he is holding onto a plow. If you could look at it very closely between his legs and the chief's legs there, you can see kind of the base of the plow. There's also, it looks like some sort of a sledgehammer, or no, probably an axe there. And then you have the Native American chief with his headdress. And then in the background, it looks like you have some, at least one cow, maybe even a little town back there. It's a little bit hard to see. So this is a little change of pace in the rear design. And the reason they changed it is because in real life, Millard Fillmore's medal had a change of design. And it was this design here. So let's flip that back over. We'll give you one last view here at Millard Fillmore. Now, one thing I want to note is as you look at the medal, there is no mint mark provided, either on the front or on the back. And when we look at the certificate of authenticity, we need to shrink this down a little bit. You have the standard introduction from the former mint director, and then here, and you'll note here there is no mint mentioned either as far as what mint it was manufactured at. And Silver Wolverine had made a video about a month ago where he brought up this issue because of a interesting addition onto the U.S. Mint product schedule in the descriptive entry for this particular metal, Millard Fillmore. Now, in his video, Silver Wolverine noted an interesting addition on the U.S. Mint's website, and I've kind of cut and pasted their metal entries from their product schedule. He noted that in the past, none of these presidential medals ever had a mint listed. It was always left ambiguous. With the August 15th entry for Millard Fillmore, he noted that, as you can see in the middle of the page there, it says San Francisco, that this was going to be minted at the San Francisco Mint. And so he was asking some questions about whether that was a change. Had they been done at a previous mint, Philadelphia maybe, before, and now it was shifting to San Francisco. One of the things I noted as I looked ahead on the schedule, they now have an entry for the Franklin Pierce medal coming out in October. And once again, there is no mint entry on this. So the previous medals, including Taylor in May, had no mint entry. The Fillmore medal has an entry for San Francisco, and then you have the Pierce medal with no entry. Now, I did a little digging and research and found an article on Coin World, which had an interesting excerpt in it. It was discussing the release of this Fillmore medal, and it notes in the yellow there, like the first 12 silver presidential medals issued, the Fillmore medal is being executed without mint mark at the San Francisco Mint. The silver medal series began in 2018. So this Coin World article seems to imply that these medals have been minted in San Francisco all along. And then regarding the history, I just wanted to note that these medals are historical artifacts, not the ones we're getting today, but the ones that were the original medals. And if you do have one of the originals, they can be worth quite a bit of money. Each of my videos, I do put up a sample of one. And in this case, this is an 1850 Millard Fillmore medal. You can note that the design is exactly the same as we have here. And this is from, I believe, coinappraiser.com. And their approximate value of this particular medal and the condition it's in is $14,100. And then I also like to take a look at the historical perspectives related to the presidents I'm profiling. C-SPAN does provide every few years a survey of presidential historians in which they rank the presidents on a variety of criteria. And Millard Fillmore traditionally has ranked fairly low in that survey. We can see here that he has generally ranked somewhere in the range of 35 to 38 over the last 20 or so years. You have to remember that we've had 46 presidents. So this is in the bottom quartile. In case you're wondering about who the top-ranking presidents are, I have a summary table here taken from the C-SPAN list. And President Abraham Lincoln has pretty consistently been given the number one spot. George Washington, in the last several surveys, has been number two. But a pretty strong consensus across the board over the 20-year period. Lincoln, Washington, Franklin, Roosevelt, and Theodore Roosevelt, the top four presidents. And then I thought we'd take a quick look at the sales in this medal series. From coinnews.net, they do a weekly update on U.S. Mint sales. And here is the list of the presidential silver medals. This is dated August 24th, so it's been a few days since this was released. They have the very first week of sales for the Millard Fillmore medals, about 11,200. That's pretty consistent with recent medal sales. That the first week they do sell about, right around the ballpark of 11 to 12,000, and then they continue on selling after that, a small number each week over the course of the year and the following years. This is a continuing series where all the medals are still on sale and can still be purchased, dating all the way back to the first one of George Washington. You can see he's the leader in the sales down there with 32,500. And that is all. I want to thank you all for coming along today. I hope you all have a great day, a great evening. This is CoinHound signing out.